If you just don't think it's reasonable to invest a lot of money into makeup, why would you if you can buy cheaper products that basically perform the same or at a level that is reasonable for the price? Or if you just don't have a lot of money and you're looking for some really good budget purchases, then this video is for you. Guys, we're back. It's been so long, I'm so sorry. Basically, I've been sick and just not really had a lot of energy, so this is the first video in about 2 months. So sorry about that. It's not because I didn't want to record, I've just not been, you know, like in the right state for it. But today we're doing something quite exciting, I think. I am testing out products from Essence. Never used any of their stuff before, but I've always seen good things online about some of their products. Basically, in the UK, I don't think we've had Essence for a while because it used to be sold in Wilko, which was then closed down. But Primark have recently got some more affordable makeup brands, Essence included. They also have Catrice, which I have a couple products of. I was hoping to do like a blended video, but they didn't have a lot of Catrice products in the right shades for me. So we're just doing Essence today, and hopefully I'll get to try some Catrice products another time. But yeah, if you don't know, Essence is a very affordable makeup brand. I think it's widely available in the US. I'm not sure about other places. Hey guys, this is just a quick interruption from future me, as I realised I didn't sell Essence very well. There were a few points that I didn't include. So basically, I just wanted to let you know that the brand is vegan and cruelty free. They try to use natural ingredients wherever possible. And they are also the #1 selling brand in Europe based on unit sales, which is amazing. Obviously, it's very affordable and that's what attracts people, but they wouldn't keep selling so many products if the products weren't good quality. So I think those facts speak for themselves. Anyway, back to the video. They do a lot of products which are considered to be dupes. I'll give you an example. This is the Jelly Grip Hydrating Primer. I think a lot of you who are into your makeup will know what that's supposed to be a dupe for. There are multiple products on the market now that look and probably feel like this as well. And they also have this one, which is like a glow filter type product. Again, there are so many on the market now. I've just done normal skincare today, my normal moisturiser. I've done my brows off camera using the NYX Thick It Stick It because I couldn't find a brow product. I've got most of a face of makeup here from Essence, but there were just a couple of things. I think brow product and maybe lipstick as well. I think I've only got lip liners. They either didn't have any products or they didn't have a shade that I would buy because it's not something that I would wear and therefore it would go to waste. Yeah, let's just crack on with it and see how we get on. I don't have any sort of eye primer. I'm going to start with the eyes because I do have an eyeshadow palette here and I don't want fallout to go onto the base because I obviously have never used those shadows before and I don't know if there's going to be a lot of fallout. So I'll start with the concealer. This is the Essence Stay All Day 14-Hour Long Lasting Concealer. And this is in the shade 30 Neutral Beige. I think this is the lightest one in a sort of okay tone for my skin. They didn't have that great a shade range, if I'm being honest with you. It looked like a lot there on the display, but there were just like a whole bunch that were the same shade. So we'll give this one a go and see how we get on. Actually, let me just wet my sponges before we start. I have to do it in my spray bottle because I can't be bothered to get up now and go to the bathroom after all of that kerfuffle with trying to fix the mic. That's a story for another day because I just don't have the energy. Okay, so it has quite a small doe foot on it. It looks fine. We'll just put a small amount here just to prep the lids. Hopefully none of this will set my skin off. I'm just going to set that down with the Essence Fix and Last 14-Hour Loose Powder. I should have removed all of these things before filming. I was just not in the mood to go through and pull out all the plastic bits in one go. It's got the standard bit with the holes in there, which shakes them out. So I'm just going to go in with a fluffy brush just to set that down. So the palette that we actually have is the Nude Edition palette. This is so nice. It's called Pretty and Nude. I think they have multiple of these. They did have, I think, at least 2 or 3 in the Primark that I was in. I think this is kind of supposed to be like a dupe of the Urban Decay palettes. I can't remember the exact one. I don't know if it's maybe the original or a mix of some of them, but that's the kind of vibe we have here. I'm just going to take a fluffy blending brush and let's start with the lightest shade just to see. Okay, so it is very powdery, quite a lot of fallout there. I'll tap it off. I'm just going to take a loose kind of layer all across the lid and right up towards the brow. But it was good that I decided to do my eyes first because it looks like there could potentially be a lot of fallout with these. And then I'm going to take this shade, 4th shade along, which is like a slightly pinky nude, I guess. And because I have kind of almost fully hooded eyes, I like to take my crease colour, or what people would call the crease colour, above my crease, because otherwise it just gets swallowed up and you'll never see it. So I try to create an almost like fake crease. And then we're going up again in colour. This one, I'm using all matte at the moment. And this one I'm just going to take into the outer part of my lid and above the crease, so in kind of a V shape. I would say these aren't massively pigmented, but they're fine, they're blending really nicely. And then before I go in with the darkest colour, I'm just going to go back in with that middle colour, so this one here, just to blend that last one out a little bit. It's all in the blend really, you don't want any really harsh lines. And I'm also going to take that second colour into the, I don't know what you call this, the inner corner almost, but the outer inner corner. And then I'm going to take this darkest brown. Actually looks slightly orangey on the camera and slightly lighter, but it is darker than that. I would say it's a slightly pinky chocolate brown. And we're doing that just on the very outside here. Say similarly to the last colour, a kind of V motion, but a tighter V, so we really stick to the outer corner. Again, this eye does look a bit funny, but it's just the way my skin's folding at the moment due to the eczema I've had. It's nothing to do with the shadows. Now if I bring my brow down, you can see you can't really see a whole lot up here. There is shadow there, but it's quite light. I think the camera's not really picking it up that well. So we're just going to go back in with this shade here and just make sure we're blending all of the edges out. Maybe smoke it out slightly. I was going to say that this is quite a cool tone palette, but I actually don't know. I really struggle with deciding if things are cool toned or neutral or warm sometimes. I don't know, like especially with browns and greys, because, well, grey is mainly cool tone, but you can have a warm grey and you can have cool, neutral and warm browns. Sometimes they don't look that different to me. I'll just pop a little bit of shimmer in the centre of the eyelid. If I swatch all of them on my hand, then I can show you the level of pigment we're working with. Oh, pretty. These are actually really nice. I'm not surprised, to be honest, because I know that Essence do really good baked highlighters and other baked products. That was one thing that I was actually looking for, the baked highlighter, because I think Taylor Wynn and Kathleen Knights both rave about that highlighter, but I've never found it and they don't seem to sell it in the Primark that I went to. I've actually been into 2 and not seen it. So I'm not surprised if these are baked eyeshadows, which I'm not sure if it says whether they're baked or not. The shimmer shades could be, because there's no fallout compared to the matte shades. Then I'm not surprised, because it could be very similar to the highlighter So that's the lightest one, and then we go from lightest to darkest. So this one's a bit more of like a coppery, bronzy colour. Actually, no, more of a like a coppery. This is more of a goldy bronze. This is more of a normal gold, a light gold, and this is more of a champagne kind of colour. I think we'll go with the champagne shimmer, and I'm going to apply it with my finger like I would any other shimmer, because that's usually how you get the best payoff. Yep. You can definitely see that in the camera. I might use a brush just to help me get it into the corner there. I've ended up pretty much taking that across most of my eye, but that's fine. But they're really creamy. I've got very carried away though. I've taken it up higher on that eyelid, so I'm going to have to do the same. I think we'll just go back in with the mid-brown just to blend the edges of that. Sorry, I don't know why I'm gesturing like this. It just takes the edge off it and kind of gives a more seamless blend from the shimmer into the shadows. We're not in natural daylight because it gets dark so early and I don't have the capacity to film in the morning. I think because the lights are directly on me, you just can't see where I've put any dark shadows. Okay, let me just check for fallout. Do have a bit there. Quick drink break. Also, let me take these shimmers off my hands before I end up rubbing them on my light coloured sheets or something. Can I use both of these? A glow filter and a hydrating primer? So I do have two primers. I've got the Magic Filter Glow Booster, which is this one, which is similar to like the e.l.f. Halo Glow or the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish, whatever that one's called. And I also have the Jelly Grip Hydrating Primer, which is, I'm guessing, a dupe or similar to the Milk Hydro Grip and the e.l.f. Power Grip. I do have the e.l.f. Power Grip. I've never used the Milk Hydro Grip. But I think because I'm going for sort of like a natural to glowy look, that's what my skin likes at the moment because it's a bit dry. I think I'm going to go in with a glow filter because I am using a skin tint afterwards. I'm not sure I would use the Jelly Grip primer if I wasn't going in with a higher coverage foundation. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you use a primer like that for a skin tint? I don't know really. It's not something I've really thought about. Also, you can use this on its own, like those other products, similar products. If you just want something on your skin, maybe you're too tired or you've got a little bit of redness that you want to cover but you just can't be bothered with a whole face of makeup, then you can put this on as like a very light base. So let's try this. Hoping this is the right shade. This is shade, is there a shade? I don't even know if there is a shade. Oh yeah, this is 10 Light. I'm guessing there's probably a fairer one, but maybe that's only available online. Oh, it's quite thick, if you can see. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe I should apply it with a brush because that is thicker than I was anticipating. Okay, I'll go in with the NYX. This is the NYX 37 brush, which I think is either a foundation or cream bronzer type of brush. It's so thick, it's not really going on very well with a brush. Like it just feels very sticky or like too thick to blend out. It's kind of unusual texture. It's almost got the texture of what I would expect this to have. It's not quite fluid, which is unusual. And I feel like I'm having to fight to spread it out. Maybe you need to use more of it. Or maybe it's supposed to be like that. Maybe it's supposed to have like that grippy, long hold as well. And whenever I'm using a product where I'm going to put some base product down my neck slightly, I always try to blend it because look at the difference. This is always so pale. And just in case any of you are wondering, like if we're maybe shade match or whatever, I am very pale. I'm kind of between fair and light, and I'm an olive, but I'm at the moment a bit unsure whether I am warm or neutral because I buy a lot of foundations in neutral because warm come up too yellow. But I do have a little bit of yellow there. Like, this is what I go on because I have a lot of redness on my face from rosacea and different things. I think I've explained this in so many videos. So I go by this, and this light's pretty good actually, because I think you can see that kind of greeny tint to my skin. I would love to get a colour analysis done one day, but it's very expensive. If I'm a true neutral olive, I could be literally in any season except summer, because obviously I have medium to dark contrast and the dark eyes. I wouldn't be summer, but I could technically be a spring, or I could be like true or deep autumn or deep winter. I know deep winter is supposed to be cool, but apparently they do have people who are neutral olive in that category. And the colours from deep autumn and deep winter, some of them are interchangeable, like you can kind of steal from both the palettes, which makes sense because I feel like I can wear black, I can wear white, I can also wear cream, I can wear really bright colours like cerise and, you know, like really vibrant reds and really deep greens. So it's very confusing. Anyway, this has given me like a really nice glow, and it's not super sticky. It's just got that slight tack, like ever so slight tack to it, but I like the feel of it. You know, sometimes when products like this have a lot of kind of glittery particles like mica or something in there, and it can cling and it looks like really sparkly where it's all clung on. I don't have that. It's very even. So other than the initial feeling of really struggling to apply it with the brush anyway, maybe I should have tried with my hands so I warm up the product a bit. But I love the look of it. It looks good. So next we're going in with the skin tint. This is, it's literally just called Skin Tint Hydrating Natural Finish, Light to Medium Coverage, SPF 30, and this is the shade 10 again. I think this was literally the lightest shade they had in a neutral or a warm undertone. They seem to have a lot of pink or peachy undertones. I think the next shade up from this 15 was very, very pink. So it just wouldn't have been an option. This is more fluid, as you can see, compared to that glow filter, whatever it's called. And I'm going to use the same brush because this is kind of all blending together anyway. See what it looks like. That is a reasonable shade. Sometimes with these products, because they are lighter coverage, you can get away with not using the right shade if they don't have your shade in stock. They did have a very minimal number of shades in the store. I noticed with some of them, with bronzers and things like that, not just Essence, but all of the makeup, the Catrice and everything else that they have in there, it like jumps from, they might have like one shade for fair to light, and then it jumps straight to like medium skin tones. So I think if you need a very specific shade, well, obviously you're going to want to buy the right shade, then you probably need to do your shop online. With skin tints and things like that, I don't tend to worry too much. It's like with the e.l.f. Halo Glow, I can pretty much get away with anything for up to towards, well, I think I've got shade 1, but they have a shade 0 now, and I think I could probably wear shade 2 as well. I'm going to take some more of that because that's not enough. When you start branching into more full coverage products, that's when you need to make sure you're really matching. And I'm going to take this down my neck slightly. Different to this area. Oh, you might have hit my mic multiple times there. I'm not sure you could have heard that bit. But this is pretty similar to my skin tone, well, to match my neck. And it is taking away some of the redness, which is what I like in a skin tint. So glowy. Oh yes. I always have these patches right here above my eyebrow where products won't stick. I don't know what the deal is with that. I think it looks nice. It's very glowy. I wouldn't say it's overly enhancing my texture. Obviously, it is going to enhance texture more than like a matte product, because that's what glowy products do. That's the reason why you wouldn't smack highlighter right in the middle of, you know, where you've got like texture close to your eyes. It's looking nice. This area here, I do actually have eczema there, so I don't expect miracles out of a product. It's actually very glowy. Obviously, if you didn't like that super glowy look, you can take some of it out with powder later. Oh, shit. Oh no, the skin tint, I left it open and it's just leaked all over the side. my bad. For fuck's sake. Hopefully it hasn't stained because this side is like pure white. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's fine. I caught it before it infiltrated. I like to do my concealer last just so I can set it with powder straight away. So I do bronzer and blush before that. So I've got two options for bronze. I've got the liquid bronzer called Baby Got Bronze. And this is the shade... Does it have a shade again? None of them seem to have shades. Oh, number 20, Sun-Kissed Sweety. And then I've also got the Baby Got Bronze bronzing stick, which is like a cream. This small one. And this is shade 10, Cinnamon Spice. Let me swatch them both on my hands to see what's going to be more suitable for me in this pale, wintry state. Oh no, we've got one of these annoying applicators. Oh God. I think we're going to need to go in with a lighter one because, again, you can't see it so well on the camera, I don't think. This is the cream bronzer. Slightly, they're both looking a little bit orangey for me, but this I feel like can be blended out a little bit better because it is lighter as well. This one just looks a little bit dark. Or maybe we could try one on each cheek and we'll just see how it goes. And I'll just be very sparing with the liquid one. This is the Made by Mitchell MDC5 brush, which I think is for contour bronzer, that kind of stuff. Let's go in with the stick first. So I'm going to take it on a brush. I'm not going to put it right on my face just in case, because sometimes it can take off the makeup beneath and also can look really patchy. I'm just going to dab it on the back of my hand to make sure it's all even. We're basically priming the brush, as Katie Jane Hughes would advise you to do. We'll start at the back just in case it looks crazy. I don't know why. Kind of looks a bit, well, I'm going to say reddish. I quite like it. Let's try and put it straight on the skin just to see what happens. I think this is giving quite a natural sun-kissed glow. It's a little bit on the kind of reddy orange side, but I'm not hating it. And then on the other side, we'll try a little bit of this. I think the reason I picked this up is because it might have been the last one they had. They didn't have like any lighter shades. Okay, now we've got the liquid one. Again, we'll work it into the brush. It's looking very orange, so I'm concerned for myself. This again is nothing. This is just a fake shadow, like, you know, from where the shape of my skin is a bit weird there. Got a dent or something. Is it looking orange or is it looking red? Which red for some people is quite a natural kind of tan going on. I tend to get a kind of neutral, slightly green tan. If you use fake tan, you know what I mean. You know those fake tans that have like, they're like an emerald shade. That's more my natural tan because I've got that greeny undertone. Get out of the way. Goodness sake. Endless flyaways. Yeah, so I do think, oh, you can see this side is slightly darker and maybe less natural looking for me. I'm not hating either of them. I think both of them actually look really nice. What is going on here? Goodness sake. Yeah, when they're blended out, neither of them are giving like super orange Fanta vibes. They're both giving a slightly orangey red, natural looking tan, I think. What do you guys think? Let me know. I thought that liquid one, I was going to really hate it. And for blush, we have the same, so the bronzer stick, I've got the same in a blush. I've got two shades. I've got 30 Rosé All Day and 50 Cherry Cherry Baby. Hopefully you can see the difference in shades. I'm thinking because we're in like autumn winter now, maybe I should try the deeper shade, the Cherry Cherry Baby. Although the lip liners that I have are more on the brown side. They are very much on the brown side. No, actually, let me swatch them both for you anyway. But I think I just want a nice little pop of colour because we're kind of going neutral on the eyes and lips. I think it'd be quite nice to have a pop of colour on the cheeks, and also because in winter I do flush quite like pinky. This might be too cool toned for me actually. I like the shade, but so these are them swatched. This is the typical colour of blush that I would go for. I tend to go for more like orangey based, coral, neutral, not a whole lot of pinks, maybe some more neutral pinks. But these are the ones that really complement my skin tone. I can also wear these like deeper shades. I've got, I think from Vive, I've got like Malbec and maybe, no, Sorbet's a bit lighter, but Malbec is like a darker, like kind of berry shade. I think we're just going to go for it. We're just going to do the berry shade, and if it looks horrendous, you know, you have to take risks. I think I'm just going to take it on a brush so we don't overload my cheek. And I'm going in with a Vive foundation brush. I like to use this for blush sometimes. I've actually used this brush so much for blush that it's stained. Like, I washed it so many times, but there's a stain now in the bristles. Maybe that wasn't the best idea. Ooh, pretty. And I always like to take my blush up high. It kind of lifts the face. That is a bit, we've gone a bit. Oh, what I'm going to do before it fully sets is go in with a beauty blender just to sort of blend around the edges. I should have done my base with this. I normally do my base with a sponge, but for some reason I used a brush today. Don't know why. Obviously I'm still going in with concealer there and will even out any like weird areas afterwards. I actually really like that. Maybe there's no such thing. Oh, I keep pulling these things out, for goodness sake. I'm always scared of applying too much blush, but I see people all the time who look amazing and they apply so much blush, especially if they're going to like events and stuff, because obviously for photos you need to apply more product for it to show up. When there's a lot of lights you can't see product so much, but maybe this is my sign to wear more blush and not be so scared of it. Oh, actually, whilst I remember, I'm going to put some lip balm on because my lips are as dry as the Sahara, as always, and I've just been filming this whole thing with nothing on my lips, and we're going to have issues in a minute when I come to put a lip liner on if I don't hydrate them now. Just going to use a tiny amount of the Vive Bounce Balm. Literally, I'm not squeezing any more out of it, I'm just putting on just enough that hopefully some of it will soak in. So next, what are we going next? Powder. Oh no, concealer. What am I doing? The concealer we have is the Stay All Day 14-Hour Long Lasting Concealer in the shade 30 Neutral Beige. I think this is a bit dark for my under eyes actually, but it's the only one I have, so we're going with it. I'm going to put a very small amount there. Actually, it doesn't look that dark. And I'm getting older now, so I don't use a huge amount of concealer. I know people draw huge triangles, etc. But I can't get away with that anymore because I do have some lines. I don't know how well you can see. Basically, I do have a little bit of texture at the ends of my eyes here, so it's very hard for a product not to cling a little bit. And it's not my lines, it's just, it's like a little bit rough or something, I'm not sure. I think we'll just go in for a tiny bit more right where that line is, here. I like open my eyes really, really wide. I know I look a bit mental. And so that my skin is fully stretched out where my lines are, so that I can use my finger to like unstick any small clumps of concealer, like excess product that is sitting in those lines. I don't know how well you can see. It's actually looking nice. We'll see what happens after I put powder on. I don't know if that powder comes in any other colours. No, I think it's just one translucent powder. I take my little elf puff, put some of the powder on, and I always wipe it off on the back of my hand. I should have gone in with more blush. We can try going back in with the cream blush over the top of the powder just to see what happens, because we're all about testing the products. And you have some products that are able to do that, like the Patrick Ta blushes. You know, you're supposed to put the powder on first and then put the cream on top. So it's good to know if you can layer them in different order, because if you ever forget to put something on, you can always go in with it at the end, and you know it's not going to ruin every piece of makeup underneath. Same on this side. It's looking ever so slightly crepey. I'm getting to that point in life where I'm not sure I should even be using powder under my eyes because of the lines, etc. Like, how much can you reasonably expect a concealer to do? And then if you have lines or texture, dryness, and then you put powder on top, it's not going to look the best if your skin is not, you know, fully plump and young underneath. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep trying different things. I might one time try no powder whatsoever and just use setting spray and see how I get on with that. Maybe I take a powder with me to powder down the oily areas as the day goes on or something. But yeah, it's interesting. I think because we don't see a lot of faces up close and without filters online, you don't really know what the makeup looks like. One, you don't know what it looks like without lights and the filter and everything, but also you don't know what it looks like really up close, because even if you were to meet a person in, you know, face to face who has a lot of makeup on, you're not stood this close to them. You would only be stood maybe that far away. And here, looking at me there, everything looks perfect. It looks smooth. And you're not, unless you're in a relationship with me or something, and you're coming right up to my face like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe we're just too critical of how it looks. But I'm just going to use the brush to dust off any excess there. That is very brightening, that powder, actually. You can see here. I'm just going to take the brush that I use for the blush, not going to add any extra product. I'm just going to see what happens if I try to put a little bit. I'm not even sure anything's coming off. I might have to put a bit more on the brush because it might have dried out. Just see if we can make it slightly less harsh there. It is clinging a bit there, so it's maybe not the best for over powder. I do not have a highlighter, so we won't be using a highlighter today, unless I can try some of this glow booster as a highlighter. But obviously I've already put powder on, but I could try a very tiny amount. Let's see. So I've literally taken that much onto the back of my hand, and I'm going to stay away from the area where I have lines and texture. That's not where you want the enhancements. It does give a little bit of a natural glow there. If you're ever stuck because you didn't have a highlighter with you, obviously if you've used this as your base, then it isn't going to work because that's what you already have on your face. But if you've gone in with a different product, a more natural or matte looking product as your base or over the glow, then you can go back in on those high points with this as a very natural slight highlighter. Boop. Let's try it on the top here. Lovely. Right, what are we doing now? Setting spray. Oh no, I need to set the rest of my face. Forgot. I actually wrote out a list when I was getting ready for my brother's wedding a few months ago. I didn't want to miss out a makeup step because obviously it's not very often that I do full glam, like full everything makeup. So I had to write out a list of every step in the right order and at what points I would do something different. If I decided to use this product, then I need to do this. And it was like a whole page of A4. I maybe should have that in front of me because the number of times I forget to set my face, or I forget one day I forgot setting spray altogether, or curling my eyelashes is something I forget 50% of the time. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's just not, maybe I just don't wear makeup enough, so I don't get into the habit of doing it's this step, this step, this step, you know, like habit stacking or whatever. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, I'll just leave the house and I'll be like, what the hell? I just didn't do half of the things that I was supposed to do for this makeup look. Just a small amount of powder, and I'm just gonna take the edge off the shine. In the very centre of my forehead, here I always get a lot of oil. And chin. Again, this is, I think this was a translucent powder, and it does look translucent. why can't I say that word? I think, you know, some translucent powders, they can kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it depends how finely milled they are or what, but you literally can not see them when they're on your face, whereas you can clearly tell when I was putting that under my eyes that it's a brightening one. It doesn't say that either, does it? No, it just says fix and last. It actually says matte, blurring, waterproof, which it is. It is matte and it is blurring. It doesn't say brightening, but I don't know. Maybe it's the light I'm in. I also set my neck, because obviously I put base product there earlier. Did I actually put skin tint down there? Or just the glow product? Not sure, but it doesn't look, it's not like a mismatch anyway. But yeah, I always do that, because obviously if you are putting an outfit, a nice outfit on afterwards, you might not be wearing a high neck or something, but maybe when you're moving around and you're going to end up touching the product to your item of clothing, and you don't want it going anywhere. I've got powder everywhere. Sorry if it looks like I've got dandruff, which I probably have, but it's just the powder. I'm quite impressed with how this is looking, to be honest. It's very cute. Right, next we have setting spray. This is the Fix and Last. Oh, so it's the same. This is obviously a range that they do. Fix and Last 18-hour long-lasting makeup fixing spray. Free from oil and free from alcohol, which is really good for sensitive skin girlies, because if you know, like we can react to any old thing. Makes your makeup last for up to 18 hours, mattifies the skin, and provides a natural looking finish for all skin types. So if you really like a super glowy setting spray, then you may not like this, because it does say mattifying, but then it says gives a natural finish, so it just depends. It says hold 20 centimeters away. Let's see how fine the mist is. Oh no. Oh, that's not so bad. Okay, let's go. Just to make sure. Okay, it's not the finest mist. You can definitely feel like little drops of it on your skin. I really like the smell of it. It smells quite familiar, like something from my childhood. But it's not hairspray, which I am grateful for, because you know that L'Oreal one that I think is supposed to be a dupe for the One Size, like that super setting one? That's the smell of that one literally makes me choke, gag every time I use it. It makes my makeup stick amazingly, but awful, awful, awful scent. Just wait for that second. Oh. I've got two mascaras to try. They're both the same one. It's the Essence Lash Princess, because I've heard so many good things about this. This is the False Lash Effect mascara, and that's black. And I also got it in brown, because if it's as good as they say it is, then I've only got one brown mascara. So I thought I'll invest in it because it was so affordable. I'm going to try, when I edit this, to actually put the cost of each item on the screen, because I should have got the receipt out, but I'm not sure I still have it. And yeah, I just didn't think about it before. But I'm pretty sure, apart from this, maybe, apart from the palette, which I still think is probably under £5, like everything is pretty much under £5. I think products like this may be like close to £5. So this is super affordable. You could maybe get away with doing a full face if you use minimal products, like the minimum amount of products you need. Maybe you go with the glow booster and the concealer. You don't do the eyes, just go with bronzer on your cheeks and your eyes and a lip liner. You could maybe do a full face for £20, but I will look into that afterwards during the editing process. But even the mascara, I feel like this mascara, I might be wrong. Should I check actually? Because I'm just chatting rubbish if none of this is right. Essence Lash Princess Mascara. Yeah, £3.99 for the mascara, which is one of their like cult products, like everyone talks about it. So we are going to use the black today, because I want the impact. So it's got a pretty standard brush type wand, if you can see it. Well, I guess it's tapered at the end, so you can get in to do like inner or outer lashes more easily. Do you know what I've just realised? Didn't curl my lashes. after all that chat. Well, anyway. I thought the mascara smelled nice then, but it's just the leftover scent from the setting spray. If you don't like scents in products, you might not like, because I can still smell that setting spray. And it may be that it's not fully dried down yet, and then maybe the scent will go, but just in case you're like super sensitive to scents, then I wouldn't recommend that setting spray. So this is after one coat. I really like it. There's length and volume. I don't have the longest lashes, so I'm not going to get like anything crazy that actually looks like I've got major false lashes on, because my lashes are just not that long. You can barely even see my lashes on that side, to be honest, so anything's an improvement. But let me come in. I think they're looking somewhere in between really separated and spidery, like a good amount of like chunky, you know. I don't know if I'd want to go in with a second coat. We could try it maybe, but I don't really like super spidery lashes. When they clump together so much that you start to get like 5 lashes in total, where it looks like you have 5 lashes, I'm not here for that. No, I've got mascara here and there, but we'll wait for it to dry and then I'll use like a spoolie thing to scrape it off. I think I have too much product on this brush. I didn't wipe it off enough, because this lash is going very clumpy in comparison to that first one. Let's try and brush it out while it's still wet. So I think you can tell this one has gone a lot more clumpy, and I think that's because I put too much product on. So I think this is one of those mascaras where if you're not careful, it can actually go kind of spidery and clumpy if you're not applying it correctly. So if you take off all the excess product from the brush before you apply it, you'll get this kind of effect. I obviously didn't take off the excess product. I mean, this look isn't bad. Like maybe you want this for a bit more like impact, because it looks a bit more volumized at the edges. And I guess that is kind of giving a false lash effect, because I would personally put false lashes on the outside of my eyes and it's not looking horrendous. I guess it depends which look you're going for, so just be careful that you haven't completely loaded up, because it's quite a thick, dry formula. I don't know how to explain that to you. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a toothpaste kind of texture. I think it may have fibres in it or something. Not sure. Does it even say that on it? It says volumizing mascara on the back. I'm liking how all of this is coming together, guys. Right, now we're moving on to lips. Actually, before we move on, let me just show you how different the brown shade is. We'll have a look and see if it's an actual true brown or if it's basically a brown black. I think it says brown on it. Oh no, it is a black brown. Damn it, I thought it was an actual brown. It's quite hard to find one that's like really brown. But I think if you have really dark lashes anyway, like me, really dark brown or like almost black lashes, the brown doesn't show up anyway unless you use a much lighter primer, like a white eyelash primer underneath. Because obviously it's just brown on top of black then, so it doesn't look that different. So this is the black and this is the brown. So there is a difference, but I feel like it's only going to show up as that colour if your eyelash hairs are that colour or lighter. If it's anything darker than that, obviously you're then getting the colour will be the effect of your lash colour plus that on top. For lips, I don't know if I think I couldn't find a lipstick shade to go with the lip liners, and they did have glosses but none that, like I have so many glosses that I didn't want to waste my money basically buying one. I think like it was a while ago now that I went into the shop. All of these products I will use, but with lips I just already have so many lip products and I don't like to waste my money on something I'm not going to use and I also can't give to somebody else. I have these two. The shade Cinnamon Spice, which is the same as the, is it the blush? It's called Cinnamon Spice? No. Oh, same colour as the bronzer. And the Perfect shade. And they're shades 1. Cinnamon Spice is shade 1 and the Perfect shade is shade 10. And because I don't have a lipstick, I might just use both lip liners to blend into each other to create like a full lip look. So it's the 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner, and it does say it's a waterproof lip liner. Looks like this. It's a retractable one, so you can take it up and down, which I know some people like that, until it stops working. No. We trust Essence to make a good product. And it also does have an inbuilt sharpener, which is great if you want to carry it in your bag or whatever. So this is shade, oh, the shade is on the lid. Where did I put that? Aha. So this is shade 10. Oh yes, nice. And then we have shade Cinnamon Spice, which is shade 1. Lovely. They're both like very versatile versions of brown nude, basically. So this one here is Cinnamon Spice. I don't even know if you can pick up the difference. This is Cinnamon Spice, so it's a slightly more orangey brown nude, I would say. Maybe that's not the right thing to say. Maybe it's more of like a neutral brownie nude. And then this is the number 10, the perfect shade, which is actually slightly darker and I would say a little bit more pink, less orange. So I think I'm going to line with the perfect shade because it is darker and then fill in my lips with the cinnamon one. You need to remove any excess bounce balm because otherwise nothing's going to go on my lips. It's all going to be slippy slidey up in there. That sounded a bit dodgy then, didn't it? You know what I mean. This is nice colour. It's like my lips but better. So I will slightly overline at the cupid's bow and under here. So you see where, you can see it quite clearly in this lighting actually, where I have that highlighted kind of line, that is what they call, I think they call that the outer lip line. So the inner lip line is the one where the colour ends, but the outer lip line is where the actual contour of your lips is. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but it's another thing I learned from Katie Jane Hughes. Hey guys, this is future me editing this video. What the fuck is this face? I'm dying. Anyways, back to the video. And you can line up to the edge of your natural contour, this kind of part here, without it looking unnatural. Oh God, why am I just like rushing to my face? I'm gonna have an accident. And I don't mean like an injury, I mean makeup all over my bloody face. Okay, and then I'm gonna fill them in with the cinnamon one. And I think these lip liners are quite long lasting because I just had to really scrub that with a makeup wipe. Don't come for me. I do occasionally use makeup wipes while I'm filming to really get it off. I could technically have tried these on my lips over the lip liner. Oh my, have I put the wrong lids on those? No. Isn't that so weird that the lid, maybe, have I put the wrong lids on? No. Sorry, I'm just freaking out over nothing. These have like a more creamy texture. I could have applied those over the top of the lip line to give like a colour if I wanted a more corally look, or if I wanted more pink in my lips, I could have added that. If you don't have other products with you, I'm quite happy with that how it is, because I don't think I want too much going on. Pretty. So I think that's everything. Take these clips out. This is my first time using a mic, like not directly recording audio to the phone, so I'm really hoping it's worked and that I have footage out of this, because if not, I've just wasted a whole hour and a half filming, plus the hour before that trying to figure out how to get the mic working and connected and staying connected. Honestly, guys. Let me just try and tidy up a little bit. What is this smell? It's like I'm being transported somehow back to somewhere, but I don't know where it's taking me. I'm like, I know this scent. What is it? Anyway, I can't zoom in because I'm filming on my phone. Nothing is looking super cakey. Nothing's clinging on in the wrong places. This is just my natural texture from eczema and things. Everything's looking nicely blended. The lips looking juicy. We don't have any crazy lines here. I'm trying to get into contouring and bronzing in all the right places to give my face more shape. I didn't have contour today, obviously. I could have gone in with a bronzer along here to create some shadow, but that one's a little bit too warm and it's not right, it's not the right vibe basically. But yeah, I'm trying to get into like knowing how to sculpt my face a bit more, because that's something that historically I've not really been into. I should try to record a look where I'm drastically changing the shape of my face using makeup products, because I've never done that before and I could really like make myself look chiseled. That could be quite fun. So this is the finished look, guys. This is the full face of Essence minus the eyebrows. I actually think we've done very well here, considering these prices. Most of the products are sort of in the £2 to £4 range, which I don't know what that, if that converts directly to dollars, if it's a similar sort of number in dollars. But anyway, I know it's, regardless, it's super affordable. And for what you pay, if you can get this, you should be very happy. Like I said earlier, I'll get the prices together and then I'll be sure to include that in the description box. I've pretty much really liked everything I've used today. I thought this was going to be a bit of a crazy dark shade. It blended out really nicely. The blushes were nice. And everything is relatively travel friendly, I would say. Even the palette is quite small, like compact. These are actually in glass. I don't know why they do some of their skin products in glass and some in plastic. So that makes them a little bit heavier, maybe not travel friendly. But as some of the products are like multi-use, like this one, for example, you could literally just travel with that as a base. And also the mini setting spray, that's travel friendly because it's just in a normal spray bottle. And even the powder is in plastic, it's super light. I'm quite impressed. So I'll be trying to move some of these products into my, well, I was going to say every day. I don't wear makeup every day, but you know what I mean, like my more regular makeup collection that I work with. I can't really do a wear test. Maybe that'll be something I do on another day, because I've done it quite late in the day now, and this would literally have to stay on until about 2 in the morning if I was going to do a wear test, and that's not reasonable. So yeah, this was just first impressions, but if you want a wear test, let me know. Thank you for being so patient, because I know if you do enjoy someone's videos and then they just don't post a video for ages, you know, you're like, where, oh, I really wanted to get into bed and watch this video tonight. Where is it? I've never said specifically I'm going to release a video on this day, this day, this day. My short form is a bit more consistent and on a bit more of a schedule, but my long form is just when I get around to and when I'm able to do it. So thank you for bearing with me. That's just how it is, I'm afraid. Hopefully you enjoy the content anyway. Okay guys, I'm checking out now. It's getting late. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.